Hey, this is Kimbellisimo, and today I wanted to talk about the genetic line. Let's use for an example, I don't know if you saw the interview with Harry and Meggan, but this is a good example of kind of how our genetic line affects us and how when we are living in duality or living in the mind, the patterns of the past, the patterns of our ancestors continue to play out. And when you look at their situation, maybe everyone doesn't know their situation, but or just kind of what was presented to us is, and I thought, which was very clear, is when I'm talking about Harry and Meggan. I'm using it as an example of kind of survival, being in survival, genetic line. And, in the interview, Harry kept saying, I see where this is going. Meaning that, he is referring to his mother, Diana, but where you get stuck in the genetic line or in a past timeline, for example, having his mother die, you could tell he was referencing that time where a lot of his energy was stored and stuck in that space and time. So in our genetic line, in our backspace, when we have pain, when there is an incident that is very traumatic, kind of we disassociate. And then, there's a lot of pain that we haven't processed. So it's kind of like we have to play it out. In a sense, when he was a kid and that happened to his mother, he was a little kid, so he couldn't do anything. He was just sitting in the pain. But, when kind of this thing happened with Meggan and him, he had to, do something about it. It was his opportunity actually to redo the past, to try to save his mother. And you could tell, on his timeline, he was stuck very early on. Then at 8:13, you could see those markers light up. And I thought it was very interesting. Like she was saying, she was having a mentally hard time, but you could see now in present time, he isn't quite able to process, or he's not able to transform something that continues to play on with the monarch. And I'm bringing this up too, because when you think about it, even us as Americans, we broke away from the crown, and you could see the pioneering spirit in Americans, not to say bad or good, but the ability to say, I'm leaving a structure, something that doesn't work anymore. Something of where the Institute isn't willing to change, isn't willing to give. And I'm just going to break free like Americans did, pioneers, and, being free, I'm going to create a new picture, a new life, and step into that new picture. And, I think too, it's just too bad that he's not talking to his father, or when you look at even the Queen and Margaret, her sister, this has played out not only for Meggan, but it's with the Queen's sister, with Diana, and how the Institute, along with the palace, has its protocols, and that's just the way it is. But, you live then a life where you're supposed to just suck it up. And when you suck it up, then you have no access to your emotional nature, to your heart. And then you're having to just, live in duality, have this image of this fairy tale life, and then you're dying inside and you have all this pain inside. And it's just all this unprocessed pain. So if we were to look at this in the backspace, for example, you look and acknowledge kind of what needs to change. Like Meggan is not going to change the monarch, even though she's asking for that. But in a way, it would be a great opportunity for the monarch to say, you know what, we do need to change some things. And just be in relationship with people that come to the family, help them integrate, support them emotionally, like be connected in relationship, as opposed to, and Meggan isn't the only one, and Harry, that has been cut off. Margaret would have been cut off. Diana was cut off, so in being cut off, though, it is really no relationship, no connection. It's like your whole past being pulled out from you. I thought it was interesting too how they were talking about safety, security. This is the foundation in that first energy center. Without your safety, security, you're in survival no matter how much money you have. And there is that feeling of threat. Not that we have millions and millions like they may have, but still being lit up on survival, not feeling safe. And they both have the wound of their fathers. You know, her father kind of sold her out to make money. His father won't talk to him. So, you know, when we look at the loop, kind of when you look at your life and when you look at the structures that you can't change, like a system that doesn't really work, you don't fit in these pictures of the old anymore. A lot of us will stay in that system. We'll try to make it work. We'll force it to try to work. And then we start to try to resolve something that is not our problem, you know, and Harry, in a sense, was, you know, good for him for standing up and taking care of his family, supporting her. Not many people can do that, but I think he really needs some support now. He's in a fish. He's kind of like here in a, doesn't, you know, it's hard to assimilate. And but I think what the important piece is for your life is look at a structure in your life and see, you know, what you've been trying to fix, what doesn't work, no matter how many times you ask. And it's just still the same thing. And maybe you keep trying to resolve it, solve it. So what you have to do is you've got to leave that picture. You've got to drop it. You've got to kind of, in a way, leave the country. Not really leave the country, but step into a new picture. Step into a new reality. You know, they're doing a streaming system, like completely let go and step into this new reality. And in that new reality, you can create your own way. Now, you know, if people can drop into the heart, then hopefully, you know, the monarch can update. Hopefully they can choose relationship, you know, over just the way things are done. And the way things are done have damaged a lot of people. And, you know, but you could tell also that I don't think it's intentional. I think when you grow up in an environment where you're not acknowledged for your emotions and you are unable to process your emotions, and when the theme is just get over it, you know, when you have that type of environment, then you don't have the pictures to create a new life. You don't have the pictures to just say to the Institute, you know what, we're going to actually help people integrate, process. Like what an amazing time it would have been if they could have integrated and processed and transformed kind of the past. But this is where, even in our own lives, in our genetic line, it will play out, the genetic line, the pain of your genetic line, where your ancestors got stuck. It will play out in our lives to try to redo it. So if we can really identify that, acknowledge it, access the energy of it, and not try to just keep doing the same old thing, being stuck, and just keep hitting a wall, but create a new picture and move into a whole new life where you are integrated, then you can truly be free. So, you know, the great thing about the genetic line is if you can identify kind of your responses, your automatic responses and how you react, that indicates you to see where kind of like a current. You could see in the interview, if you watch the interview, her currents show up where she may have been saying one thing, but there was another current underneath it. And just how he was moving around, turning red, just, you know, emotionally kind of stuck, unprocessed pain. So if we can drop into our hearts and really activate that wisdom of the heart, then we can live a whole filled life with love, with relationship. In relationship, we can change, we can grow. And just even, you know, I think they're just a reflection of us trying to process even things in our own life, maybe on our own foundation, because this time in the planet, we are all redoing our foundation. And in redoing our foundation, we're having to integrate all of this energy that is coming into our bodies. And by integrating it on our foundation, we have the ability to create new lives, to create a whole new thing that you can't imagine. And I want you to know that that in your life, dream the undreamable, because you have access and your ability to do it now. It's time. You can step into a picture, and I've been seeing, just even in this past week, people stepping into pictures and having a brand new life, something that you couldn't have even imagined. But you do have to let go of your past and let go of all of the pictures kind of the genetic line. And by stepping kind of in a new picture, then you are truly free. We are breaking free, because what's happening here is this karma of the past is coming up. We're seeing reflections of it. We get a redo of it. And how we know, most people just kind of play out the same old thing on the genetic line again and again. It's because they don't quite have mastery of owning their energy in the body. When you're able to own your energy in the body, what happens then is that you show up here in a new way. That is the ability to kind of, it's like transmediumship is channeling your spirit fully within. But where there's pain, where we don't own kind of traumas happen in our life, where we don't own our space. Have you known people where you're talking to them and all of a sudden they're gone? They've disappeared and somebody else is there. It's like, okay, who am I talking to now? And so here we are having an opportunity to really bring in our higher self, to bring in our essence, like that orange, to be filled with our essence, to call that in. And then not to let ourselves be inhabited by other spirits or other energies that we tend to channel in when we have pain, when we have a problem, when we get kicked out, and you may start to feel angry or sad, or you could see it even in the interview where they didn't quite own their space. Because if you don't own your space, now your genetic line comes in and you have to redo the past. And he had to kind of leave London as a way of saving his mom, because he couldn't save his mom. I see that was the picture. So love to you all. And this Saturday, I'm going to have Moon Magic earlier. I'm going to have it in the day, I think 2:00, but be looking out for that. And bring your essence fully into the body. All this new energy is coming in. And if it's on that foundation, imagine if, we're so in our heads and our heads drive our energy out, that if you can imagine your head on your pelvis, kind of walking legs, head on pelvis, woof, drop in. If you drop in, now you can step into your new reality, creating your pictures in certainty. And this week is an amazing week for new beginnings. So create those pictures, step into that new life with your certainty, call your energy back from these times and places, and let's not have history repeat itself, but we are becoming the embodiment of our essence fully in the body. Much love. Thanks.